Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Manch Talk. I'm Carla Gericke.
I'm Dominic deMaria.
And as you guys know, if you've been following the show for a long time, we are trying a new thing where once a month, my colleague Dominic from Porcupine Real Estate comes into Manch Talk so we can talk all things real estate in New Hampshire. As you know, I'm a free stater. I love New Hampshire. I think it's the best place on earth to live. It's gotten a little expensive, but we want to make sure that anyone who wants a piece of New Hampshire real estate can get it, and we are here to serve. So if you're ever looking for either of us, you can find me at Carla@porcupinerealestate.com.
And myself at Dominic at porcupinerealestate.com.
All right, fantastic. So today we're going to be touching on a whole bunch of things, but I thought we could start. Should we start with the Homesteading Conference, just in case we kind of missed that?
Absolutely. That is a big one that's coming up. So this is a yearly event that happens in Swansea, New Hampshire every year, put on by the Homesteaders of New England. It's a nonprofit organization that tries to get like-minded homesteaders together and share experiences, share resources. It's a really cool festival. It's a 2-day event. And,
I just noticed your glasses, and they are awesome. So you guys can't see this, but the side of his frame is
this is fine, dog. The meme.
So
they're custom made, but we can talk about that later.
No, we must talk fashion first.
So the Homesteader of New England Festival is coming up. It is the 6th and 7th of September. And basically it's, like I said, an event where a lot of the homesteaders from various New England states, whether it's New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine, all kind of send people over here, and we get together.
Where?
Swansea.
Swansea. So that's the western part of the state, sort of close to Keene and those areas for the new folks. But
we do have some great guest speakers coming. There's Daniel Salatin from Polyface Farms, which is a big deal for us. I think that's one of the larger ones we've had.
Is that his son?
It is his son, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So just for folks back home, we had Joel Salatin actually speak at Pork Fest this year, right?
I missed that one, unfortunately, so I'm looking forward to being able to see Daniel.
I opened for him, so I was kind of lucky because I was right there. And he, for folks who don't know, so Polyface Farm is just, they're one of those places that really lives their principles, right?
Absolutely.
So second generation, Daniel is coming to speak at this homesteading conference. Who else is there?
And then Al Lumna from Lumna Acres, which is, I believe, I can't remember what state they're in, but they're another one that does a really great YouTube presence, all facets of farming and homesteading. So.
Okay, cool. And so you've gone to this before, right?
Yeah, I've been going since it started 3 years ago. It is in its infancy, I would say. It's going to get bigger every year, but it is one of those great chances to talk with people about homesteading. There's a lot of folks who are homesteading curious and haven't really bought their property yet or are looking to move here, want to know why New Hampshire is better than other New England states. Is it even possible to homestead in New Hampshire? Yes, it is. So
let's talk about that a little bit. So if you describe someone as homesteading curious, so let's take me as the example. When I was living in New York before I moved to New Hampshire in 2008, I had some big ideas about growing my own tomatoes and getting some chickens and doing all of that. And then, tried out some of it. Turns out, don't really have a green thumb.
Sure.
But my chickens are still alive after 3 years. So what do you typically see? Are people looking for more acreage? Describe kind of...
I kind of think of homesteading as a spectrum because there's no simple answer to what is a homestead. It can be as simple as I can and preserve my own foods that I've grown, or it can be I have a multifaceted farm that I'm raising pigs on and selling them to customers. There's all sorts of different levels of it, and I think that's what people they get intimidated when they're first starting to think about it because they're like, oh, well, I want to produce all my own food. I want to produce my own electricity so that I can power...
Everyone wants a goat.
Yeah.
Initially, honestly, it's the funniest thing because I know enough people who have gone down the goat route.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're both cooks. We love to cook. I have made a goat stew or two in my life.
Sure.
But, you know, they're not easy animals. They will eat anything in your way.
Now, and I think of goats as like not a great starter animal because it really doesn't serve a purpose.
Agreed.
Like a goat doesn't actually do anything other than clear land. You can get milk out of them, but then you have to breed them to get them milking. I think a great starter animal is either a pig because they're basically usable from snout to tail.
Yep.
But also, yeah, I have a pig tattoo on my arm. But the sheep are actually a great starter animal because they're relatively easy to take care of, and they're wool. So like you can get the wool off of them. You don't have to get them breeding to get any resources out of them. You know what I mean? So, and they're very like charismatic. They have a lot of the same tendencies as a goat does.
And actually almost better because the goats
so.
are a little diabolical, for lack of a better term. They will really like climb trees and eat stuff.
They get
and
bored very
sheep are
easily.
kind of like, meh, you know, they're easy to...
Yeah, the starter animal is always chickens, but then I think it branches out from there. A lot of people go pigs next, but I think sheep is a smarter choice personally.
Yes, and as someone, you know, from South Africa, we're big lamb-eating folk. You know, lamb isn't that popular in the States, actually, which was a weird discovery for me when I moved here. But I have since, here in New Hampshire, found great lamb sources because oftentimes the homesteaders will raise, you know, like maybe like 4 or 6 sheep. And then, you know, they do it for their own cultivation and for their own culling, right, to use. And then usually folks will have 1 or 2 extra. And so you can get some really delicious lamb here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too, it's with the sheep, it's a lot easier to approach a sheep than it is to go for like a cow right off the bat. I do know some folks who I helped buy a property up in Ashland earlier this year have their first cow now.
Oh wow!
And that was on their list. Like, we need to buy a cow. And I was like, okay. I mean, like I personally, when I had my farm back in New York, I had a rule that I didn't want any animals to start with that I couldn't pick up if they got injured. So like that was my. I didn't want to get a forklift. I didn't want a forklift to have to lift a horse or anything like that up. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So that's in a couple of weekends, right?
6th and 7th of September.
And does it run all day? Like, what does it look like? Are there booths, food? What should people plan for?
So basically, it's an all-day event. It starts, I think, the first talks start at either 9 or 10 a.m.
Okay.
The schedule is online. If you search Homesteaders of New England Fall Gathering, that is the website. You can find it pretty easily. Starts at 9 a.m., I believe, and goes until like 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And there are food trucks available. There
sweet.
are tons of different vendors, like craft vendors and different things like that. And then there's 2 stages. So there's usually 2 different talks going on at any given time. And one of the coolest things for a lot of people who are curious about homesteading and don't know if you really want to do it yourself, there is generally a chicken butchering workshop that they do. So you can see it start to finish, like live chicken, go to processed chicken, right in front of you. So
as someone who has actually done that, I think if you are serious about homesteading, that is something you should probably go attend.
I think it's great.
Because, you know, actually caring for things is not for the squeamish. It's, you know, but it's because I also think because we both cook, right? Like that nose to tail sort of idea. I've always thought that if you're a vegetarian, you should still eat everything made in bacon. This would solve all the world's problems and make veggies more delicious.
That's funny.
Anything else on the homesteading
I think that's pretty
conference?
much it. The tickets are available still. It is a ticketed event, so you do have to buy tickets, but they're very reasonable, and it goes towards the next year's events, I believe. So.
Oh, that's really neat. I mean, I'm so busy, but this one actually sounded like it would be really fun. Porcupine Real Estate, I believe, does have a booth out there.
We are actually a sponsor, so we are one of the, I think, I can't remember what tier sponsor we are, but we are branded on all of the stuff.
Oh,
for
wonderful.
the event. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I hope business is steady. This will give us actually a pretty good segue into something that Dominic and I were discussing yesterday. So we were talking, as people who love New Hampshire and want more people to move here, we're very aware of the opportunity, I suppose, is a way to talk about it, right? Like, to me, there's a lot of opportunity still in New Hampshire. And I know many people who don't live here yet feel it has become expensive. And to be fair, I mean, yes, the record home prices are up there. We're talking about a median sales price of $565,000
Yep.
for June, and then the average sale price is over $600,000 now, which, if you grew up in New Hampshire or if you've been here for 20 years like I've been, you're starting to go, whoa, this is like getting up there.
And like that's just single family homes. Condos are even up too. Like the average condo price is $425,000, which to me just sounds crazy, but it is what it is. That's the market.
And of course, that is an issue of supply and demand, but it's also an issue in terms of the housing stock, but it's also an issue of, is there space to bring more people in? So one of the ideas we've been talking about is to look at large pieces of land. So to back into it a little bit for folks back home, Porcupine Freedom Festival, PorcFest, which we've both attended for many years, has been at Rogers for many years. And we're kind of looking at, hey, what do we do for next gen? What else is available out there? So then we started looking at, large acres of land. And then I kind of went down this rabbit hole. And then yesterday I did a search and I looked up any parcels of land in New Hampshire that are more than 100 acres. Just to see kind of what's out there, what are the opportunities. And there are currently 37 parcels of land for sale in New Hampshire that are over 100 acres. And I thought, wow, that seems like we should buy all of them. So if you're the one person watching this who's like, yeah, we should own all of Switzerland, hit us up, come talk to us. But the reason I say it is because you have worked on a land deal recently, and I thought it'd be kind of useful for folks back home to really understand, what is the process? What are you looking for?
Sure. Yeah. So, so the one that Carla was referencing is I have currently under contract right now up in Columbia, which is up in Coos County, way up north. So you can still buy land pretty reasonably up there as far as buildable lots go. And the one that we looked at specifically was listed with 9 other parcels in addition to it, right off the same little development. Okay. So I had spoken with the agent just to kind of get a little background on the situation, and this seller had originally purchased a 50-acre parcel. I think it was 45 to 50 acres, right around in there, several years back, and had planned on building their own homestead kind of property on it, like a nice cabin in the woods, kind of isolated.
Yep.
And what they ended up doing was not building that, and decided instead to parcel it out, work with the town, and actually put in a road and make buildable lots on that parcel. So for their initial investment and time, plus several other factors that went into it, they were able to turn a relatively small investment into potentially over $500,000 in sales if they're able to sell all of those parcels at the prices that they want.
Wow.
So yeah, it's definitely a plan. It is something that's possible to do, and there are people doing it right now.
So to make a libertarian joke here for us, I'm like, how they always say, who will build the roads? It's the investors, the people who want some return on investment. It doesn't make them selfish. It makes someone, little lesson in capitalism for the folks back home. It means someone used their capital to buy something else to improve it so that other people can get access to, right? We don't necessarily need the 100-acre properties. Maybe that gets subdivided into 5-acre lots, which are still pretty big by most standard sizes.
Yeah, and every town is going to be different. So Columbia's minimum lot size is 3 acres. So several of these 9 lots are 3 acres or just slightly above. Some of them are about 5 or 6 acres, and they range anywhere from $60,000 up to $90,000.
Wow.
So it's pretty reasonable, and they all have mountain views because it's beautiful up there, and you can't not see a mountain. So yeah, I think it's one of those things that if somebody was serious about wanting to invest and really, try to look into developing a planned community, for lack of a better term or whatever you want to say, this is possible. Obviously you got to do your research.
Right.
Again, every town is going to be different. They're not just going to automatically say, yes, we'll approve 9 building lots on this 50 acres or whatever it is like that. But it's a plan.
So I would say, like, if we had to list like the top things you should think about for something like that, obviously you want to know what the acreage is. You want to know what the road frontage is, because the road frontage does determine how much you can subdivide. It works on that. So if there is no road, you have to price in, do I need to build the road,
Yes.
right? And then you got to work with the town, because as you say, we are very localized here in New Hampshire, and every town has its little nuance and its little rules. The one I was looking at yesterday that had more than 100 acres that I was sort of like, oh, this is cool, was in Dummer, because I sold a house there last year, so I know the people in the area. And I remember when I sold it, I thought, this is such a cool area. It's like right next to Stark. There are the old gold, the covered bridges. It's just beautiful. And so for those folks who don't live here yet, who are thinking, how can I make it here? Consider investing in a large swath of land and then doing this sort of subdivision approach, or consider working with the network. Someone else is already doing a subdivision. Hook in, talk to Dominic, and see if one of those 3 parcel land pieces are good for you.
And I do want to say too, like, this is not a simple plan. Like, there are a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of risk involved and things like that. But I mean, at the same time, it's got to start somewhere. So if somebody really were interested in this is a business. I mean, potentially making $500,000 over the course of 10 years. I mean, it's if you parcel it out. You're not going to be up there digging trenches yourself.
Right.
It's paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork to do.
Lots of paperwork, some lawyers, some good real estate agents, all of that good stuff, and working again with your town. And then when you're doing that sort of list of the things, right, is also, because New Hampshire is so unique, zoning does differ significantly, and not only the zoning, but the tax rates.
Oh, for sure.
And so you do want to be looking at all of those things. So I got sort of fixated on the 100+ acre lots, but there are many others that are in different iterations of that. And so again, initially what you're looking for is, how big is the land? What does the zoning look like? What are my taxes? And what is the road frontage? So can I subdivide?
And this is another thing too, so this is up in Coos County, where the prices are still very reasonable. This same kind of deal down in, I don't know, like Raymond or somewhere down here, like in the southern area of the state, would be 10 times this price. I mean, you're looking at $300,000 for a lot instead of, $50,000, $60,000.
And, for some folks who are maybe not here yet, but they're thinking about moving, this could create an incentive where you go, okay, I'm going to buy the land so long. It's kind of like, I'm just getting to that age where I do start looking just, once in a while for like, what could I get on the water somewhere, right? And I did see a great fab little property yesterday, and I was like, no, I'm not ready yet, so I'm not going to get too into it. But I did think, if I was out of state and I was like, hey, my game plan is to be there in the next 5 years, then one of these subdivision lots kind of lets you get your foot in the door. It sort of establishes that goal setting that okay, I'm on my 5-year plan or my 4-year plan or whatever. And then you slowly start to get your ducks in a row while you're planting your flag here in the Free State.
And while this is not official advice for investing, because I am not an accredited investor by any means, land almost never goes down in value. Pretty much it's going to accrue value over time.
Well,
and in New Hampshire, there's a program called Current Use, which is a tax incentive program which allows anybody with property over 10 acres to leave it in what they call like a natural state, or the current use state of it, and you're taxed pennies on the dollar. So I've seen 100-acre parcels that have like a $500 a year tax bill. So, it's a great investment in that sense.
Yeah, and current use, of course, you know, you have to have 10 or more acres. You can take it out at a later stage. People are like, what does that mean? It means like people can use those parts of your property. It's primarily for snowmobile trails, to be honest.
There's a lot of
hunting.
Yeah, hunting. There's also a bunch of different criteria or like levels of it. So like if you want to use it to graze your animals, there are certain portions of it that you can do in that sense. It's very nuanced. There's lots of rules and things. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to us and we can talk about it.
Cool. So I do want to talk a little bit about what you think is going on in the market right now. So my impression is that we are seeing rising inventory. I feel like it's still a seller's market, but time on market is not like 4 days. It's kind of a little longer now. So tell me what you're seeing.
Yeah, so these are stats from July from last month. And we were seeing the average home price, as you said, was like $560 in that range, $565, and 21 days on the market is the average right now for the entire state. And that does vary from town to town and from area to area. But that's about what we're seeing average. And then condos are on the market for about 26 days.
Yeah,
so it's definitely slowing down quite a bit. Although I am working with a buyer right now who's looking for condos in southern New Hampshire.
Yep.
And it is like super aggressive still.
Yeah.
So like.
And honestly, I had a showing on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Yesterday that got canceled on Monday because it was listed on Saturday. My clients couldn't come before Tuesday. I asked the agent. They were like, "Oh, it'll probably
Saturday
be."
they listed?
So and I was like, okay, that was really, or maybe the Thursday,
Well,
and
yeah,
she let me know
okay.
on the Saturday. But yeah, gone and
Yeah.
you know under contract. But then on the flip side, you know, I heard from another agent yesterday who thinks the deal he currently has is going to fall through, and was like calling all the people who had done showings and stuff. So I think there is a little bit of that happening.
Well, and I think part of that too is the inventory is so high right now. So there are more houses on the market right now in New Hampshire than there have been in the past 5 years.
Right. It's
And
up like 14%.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great. I mean, it's the start of a buyer's market. You know, I wouldn't say it's officially at that point yet, but we are getting closer and closer to that. And I think what it really comes down to is there's so much more choice for the buyers out there. So they can take their time, they can be choosy, they can look at houses that, you know, 2 years ago would have sold instantaneously without even thinking about
Under
it.
COVID, you're like, I love black organic material. Hug me, mold.
So yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. There's more options out there for buyers, so if things are slowing down in the sense that people can take their time and actually look at the properties as opposed to just making snap decisions.
Right, and maybe also, you know, as we say, get back to the moving towards the buyer's market. Then you know you can actually get a little bit more of what you want, right? Like you can start to be a little more picky. I have also noticed prices are coming down a little bit, so it does seem like there was a lot of, at least in my inbox this week, you know, 20% down.
Price adjustments,
20,
they call
yeah, a lot of price adjustments. So that can be sort of the tail end of that switch from sellers to buyers market, right?
Yeah.
Where agents are like, it's still summer, school hasn't started, we think we're going to list up here. And then as they realize, oh, the market's softening or there's more inventory, oh, gee, maybe we need to come down just a little bit.
Yeah, and I will say that, like, just as far as the busyness of the market or the current state of it, I've had probably my busiest month ever last month.
Nice.
So, like, over the course of that month, I've had 6 transactions go under contract. So
Good for you.
It's been incredibly busy. So it is slowing down, but it's also like not slowing down.
Right.
So
Is that a mix of people in state or is that influx?
both. 2 of them were sales, and then 2 of them were, 4 of them were buyers. So
Okay.
yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's just everything falling into place. And I will say that negotiations have been fantastic.
Yep.
The sellers are open to working with the buyers at this point. So
not that like no inspections,
yeah.
all that crazy
We're not
stuff
even
that we're
considering
seeing.
non-cash offers. Yeah, those days seem to be gone.
So you have a current listing, don't you?
We do, yeah. We have one over in Henniker. That's the land listing. So we've had that one for a little while. It's right over near Pat's Peak. That one is still available. We've had several calls and interest on it. Just haven't found the right buyer for it yet.
And is that just land?
It is just land.
And is that close to or next to that the waffle place?
Yes,
or,
yeah.
Is it?
Intervale Waffle House, I think it's called, or something along those lines. It's a great place to go for breakfast. Yeah, check it out next time you're in the area, and look at the parcel while you're there. Yeah, it would be good for commercial or residential. It could go either way. It's zoned that way. So, and then we also have one in Somersworth. It's a 4-bedroom.
Remind me where Somersworth is on the map?
Right over near the Maine border,
Okay.
south of Dover.
Okay, so sort of seacoasty trending towards Maine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, right over in that area. Very commutable to a lot of different places.
Nice.
Great place for people who want to live in New Hampshire but work in Maine.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who do that for tax benefits.
Tax reasons, just another reason to love the Free State.
And this house in particular is really nice in the fact that it's close to the main street. So
Okay.
like you live in a pretty isolated little neighborhood, but it's walkable to downtown. So there's restaurants, there's places to hang out.
That's
A really
nice.
great board game store. So
And where can people find more information?
more information on that one would be on our website, porcupinerealestate.com. You can search it on Zillow. It's 36 Winter Street is the name of the property. And I will be there again doing a couple more open houses on Thursday night. So Thursday what is today?
Today's Wednesday.
Today is
I know
Wednesday,
that.
so Thursday the 28th, I'll be there from 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And then on Saturday from 11 to 2 p.m.
Okay,
So-
fantastic. So folks can get more information about everything we're talking about, of course, at our website, porcupinerealestate.com. Also for me, because I see we got the 2-minute warning, let folks know again just here at the end of the show, last thoughts and then how they can reach you.
Sure. Last thoughts. Please, if you have any interest in homesteading in New Hampshire, come out to that Homesteaders of New England festival on the 6th and the 7th. I'm happy to have conversations with you, talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's always great to see people there. Tickets are still available. And then as far as how to contact me, it's Dominic@porcupinerealestate.com.
All right, and from my side of the desk, thank you all for joining us again for another Manch Talk, the special real estate edition, which will now be a monthly feature. If you guys want to reach me for real estate, Carla@porcupinerealestate.com. All the other stuff, go at Carla@carlagericke.com. You can always find all of my content on my YouTube channel, Carla Gericke TV, or on my website, carlagericke.com. And that is CarlaGericke. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace out.